TCP is in the building. Good to see y'all. And today we are focused on how to position yourself as the go-to person inside of your niche. You know, most coaches are feeling invisible online and they're putting out this content, but they are not getting the type of traction that they want in order to position themselves as an expert in the space. You ever felt like that? Like, yo, man, I'm putting out the content, but nobody's responding, nobody's reaching out. You know, I am trying to engage with people, but I'm not feeling the momentum. And and I'm finding it hard to really get the visibility and get people to be attracted to me in my space. So that is literally what we're going to be focused on today. I've been able to figure this out over the last, I would say, 10 years of me doing this industry. Really, over the last 5 years, I started to understand and crack the code on this. This allowed us to be able to attract over about 20,000 followers. More than that, of course, on my social, but that was just like on IG. But I would say maybe about 30,000 followers across social media accounts. We've gotten a lot of folks who have followed us online and have reached out to us to become clients, and we've been able to build a lot of trust online just through the playbook, the coaching and speaking brand, through I am Terrell Jones. And I'm going to share what we're going to do today. So I got 3 big ideas we're going to focus on. One is the one framework to use to stand out in a crowded market. So how do you separate yourself from everybody else? We're going to focus on how I built my framework without having a degree or credentials. That's important because I get people who ask me about that all the time and they can't start because of this reason. So we're going to tackle that. And then also how to stay consistent without posting every day. So we also going to focus on that. What does that really look like too? Because I know some of us have been having some challenges with consistency. So we're going to talk about that. All right. So this concept came about because when I started building and working in this industry, you know, wanting to help people, wanting to coach, wanting to get paid for it. My first 5 years was a little rocky. And it was rocky because I honestly didn't know what I was doing online. I was putting up stuff, trying to see what sticked. I wasn't really getting people who were interested in paying that much for any kind of product or service that I had. So it was hard for me to sustain. And I realized this ain't working. I don't think I'm gonna be able to continue to build this business if I'm just guessing every day, guessing what I need to put out online, guessing about the offers that my audience needed. And that's when I started going hard and hiring coaches. And then once I did that, I started hiring some help. About 2 years later, boom, I cracked the code and been able to go full time. So that's why focusing on these topics today is going to get you closer to the place where potentially if you want to go full time, you can, but that's only going to happen if people know this is what you do and they respect you and they trust that this is what you do and you can help them get the type of results that they want. That is why this is so important today. So now, what is the framework that I use to stand out in a crowded market? One of the biggest questions I had, one of our somebody in our audience, I was doing a free training recently, and they said, yo, Coach T, you know, like, how do you come up with these topics? Like, how do you know what type of content to put out? I'm always just so confused on what I need to put out. So I said, oh, okay. I said, I used to be there and I used to guess, but now we have a framework on how we do short form content. And even I use my longer form content. It's pretty much the same. I just cycle through these over and over and over. So how do you stand out and be able to put out content? And so we have a framework that we call the HSL method, which is the hook, story, lesson. Hook, story, lesson. Write that down. This is how I put out content. If it's short form content, it's hook, story, lesson. If it's long form content, and let's say I'm teaching 3 or 4 lessons, you know, guess what? Hook, story, lesson for one lesson, hook, story, lesson for another, hook, story, lesson. As many points as I'm teaching, I'm always doing hook, story, lesson. Make sense? So, okay, Coach T, so what do you mean by that? So it's hook, story, lesson is a methodology of how we capture that attention. Without it, you're going to be basically trying to figure out what type of content to post, and you're going to be posting random content and nobody's going to care. Versus when you start using this hook, story, lesson framework, people are going to trust that you're an authority in this space because you're teaching them something that's in relation to your expertise and is going to be interesting, which is what you want. You need people to pay attention to what you're doing in order for it to be interesting. So what does that look like? First, Hook, I like is like you got to capture the attention. You got to realize you probably have 2 or 3 seconds before somebody scrolls off. Remember, everybody is scrolling on these major platforms. So you got to have something that's going to capture them with from between what you say to what you show visually. So a hook could literally be anything. It could be like a question. If we're talking verbally, it could be a strong statement that potentially may be controversial or something that some people may disagree with. But then once you provide context, then that's when people understand it. But you want to start off with something like that. A quote is also very good to start with, but you want to start with something that can hook people. If it's visually, maybe you have something, in your hand, maybe you're writing something on a board. Usually you might see me do a video, or I even do my ads like this. Like, you might see like a little pin in my ear or something, I'm holding something. I just did an ad recently where I was, the beginning of the video, I'm talking, but I'm in the video writing on my arm. So you're like, yo, why my man writing on his arm? What's going on? That's just a hook. That's a visual hook, because now you want to know, well, what am I doing? You want to know why am I writing? You want to know what I'm writing. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we call a hook. You want something that's gonna make somebody just be curious to be able to actually listen to what you got to say. So that's the first thing. The next is story. So this is where this is gonna start to separate you now, right? So now we're looking at, okay, well, what is the unique story that you can tell? Don't tell somebody else's story. Tell something that's part of your story, right? So you want to be the go-to person in your niche. That means that you have an audience that you're catering to, and that means you have a problem that you're solving. So you need to be solving problems and training on different steps, but you have to tell your unique story about that. You understand what I'm saying? Like for example, talking about, there was a point in time where I was like, yo, I need to focus on like lead generation, and how do I be able to do that? So one of my initial stories around lead generation is I had a Beyonce, I had some Beyonce tickets. I'm like, all right, this is when she had like the On the Run tour. And I'm like, I want to be able to, attract some people who might want to come, somebody want to go with their girl, 2 homegirls, whatever. And I had this Beyonce ticket. And I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna do this webinar and I'm gonna train and teach, but I'm gonna give away the ticket for free. And I didn't have anybody jump on like the first 15 minutes, and I was feeling discouraged. And I'm like, man, you know what? Let me just log off. And right before I was about to log off, this one lady comes on the call. And I'm like, damn, now I gotta actually do it, right? Because I've already committed to me doing this. So I went all out, I trained, I taught, it was amazing. At the end, I said, who's gonna win a Beyonce ticket? Now, this was during the time of freeconferencecall.com. Yeah, I know about free conference call. You can't really see anybody else that was on the call. So my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, yo, just get on so I can have one person to sound like it's just somebody else outside of just the one lady that was on the call. So the lady, so I gave away the Beyonce ticket. She won. She goes crazy. Oh my God, thank you so much. And it was in that moment that I realized that I had the value. I just didn't understand how to generate the revenue, because up until that point I had, I was starting to feel like some imposter syndrome, but then also, which is one, but then also it was like, man, I got to figure out like how to get more people. I just got to get in front of more people. And that was really one of my first breakthroughs. So that was, so what I just told you was a story. What's interesting with this story is that it's unique to me. So this is part of what's going to make you stand out in the marketplace. When you think about like an ET the hip hop preacher, his story, right? Eating out of trash cans, living in abandoned buildings, his wife having MS, all these things, Tony Robbins, ended up leaving home at a young age, mother putting dish detergent down his throat, having several fathers. It's just like, these are people who got stories. So you got your core story, but then you have other little stories that you can associate with every step of what you teach. So that's important. It's like, okay, if I'm helping somebody achieve this thing, then I should have some type of lessons that I can teach them. So, hey, here's what you need to learn in order to achieve the goal. Well, guess what? You should have, any good expert should have stories that is related to the things that you're teaching them, because this is what puts it into It's what puts it into perspective for them. It's not just teaching them like you an encyclopedia. All right, so that's the second part about, yeah, that's really the first part. So let me know if that's helpful to you. All right, so this is how we do long form and short form content. So that's like that's how we do the first big idea. Now, when it comes to building frameworks, how do we build frameworks? So the thing was this, right? When I first really started getting into this was probably around 2015. My first couple years, I didn't really have frameworks. A framework is, okay, like what is your rules to achievement? Like if this is a thing that you're helping somebody achieve, what is the rules to it? So I was online and talking to people, and I was just helping them and giving them advice, but I didn't have any kind of unique criteria or curriculum for what it actually takes to succeed. You know what I'm saying? I was just giving random advice, helping people, helping, but I didn't have anything that separated me from anybody else in the industry, right? For all my audience knows, I just read it out of a book and I'm just regurgitating it. They don't know what I'm doing or what I have is any different than anybody else that's out here. You see what I'm saying? So what I started learning as I started joining coaching programs, I started learning that you gotta have some rules, some steps. So here's how you build frameworks. You gotta have your 12 steps to success. Your 12 steps to success. Okay, so that means, what is it? So any of our clients, I'm showing them how to, all right, what is the outcome you're helping people achieve? And then you got to have your 12 steps. We like 12 steps because we like 12-week coaching programs. We don't like to bring people in and charge them just for an hour or two, because that's not going to help them achieve the actual goal. You understand what I'm saying? Is this helpful? You really understand it? Because what giving somebody, and I used to do this too. I used to make the mistake where I would say, okay, I'm gonna help somebody for an hour here and an hour there, and I would charge like these consultation fees, right? And I realized that wasn't really helping anybody, right? It was helping them in the short term, but I wasn't getting testimonials. They didn't really understand how I was different than anybody else. And people weren't really getting the results that I want. So I found myself struggling for a long time until I started putting together a framework. And I said, okay, if you want to build a successful coaching business, here are my steps to do it. And that expanded over time, because I know some people, you ever felt like, man, I want to build this, but I'm not the best person in my industry. I don't got the best results in the industry. So you can feel a little bit of that imposter syndrome. And I get it. I was there, but you got to start with what you know and the problems that you can solve. So that's what I did. I started off first working with helping you put together these coaching programs. So guess what? My 12 steps to success was the coaching. And then I got better at content. And then I expanded, I reworked my 12 steps. Boom, now I can help you with the content. I got better at lead generation and attracting an audience. Boom, then I started doing that. And then now I'm getting people booked. I'm getting appointments. And then I said, okay, I can start helping you get your first client, your first few clients. We work my 12 steps. And then now we got folks that's making 5 figures a month consistently, being able to generate hundreds of leads per month, and and crushing it. So now I can say, I can help you make 6 figures in your coaching business. And guess what? I had to rework my 12 steps. So when somebody signs up, they can actually get the outcome that I'm saying that I can help them get, that I'm promising them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole idea behind the framework. And guess what? You don't need a college degree to do it. You don't need any, you don't need a certification to do it. All people care about is results. And that is what they care about. So, that's the thing. So if you can help somebody get the type of results that is what they want, then they're not even going to ask you. How many people I really can't think of, maybe once in the last 10 years, maybe once I had somebody ask me, hey, like, what credentials you got, or what degree do you have in this? Or like, I almost never get anybody that ever asks me that. Why? Because they can see my expertise. They see me demonstrate it. They can feel it from watching the training videos, and the people that I speak with, and they see, okay, he obviously got the results here. I can see he got the testimonies. Obviously, I can see he's already thought about the frameworks. He's doing it himself. He's helping a lot of people do it. I can see that this is organized. Like, it's like they just see it and they just feel it and they understand it. So they don't have to question what school you went to. They don't have to question what degree you have or what certification program did you go through. They don't have to question that. The only people that get questioned like that are the people that don't seem like they know what they're doing. That's what it is. And that's because it's their lack of preparation, because they haven't even thought about their 12 steps. You see what I'm saying? So what are your 12 steps to success? What is the problem you're helping people solve? And what are the steps that's going to help them get there? The yellow brick road, baby. That's all this is. It is literally the yellow brick road. So help them do that. You know what I mean? If you help them do that, you're gonna win. All right. So, this is no degree, just strategy. Right? Write that down. No degree, just strategy. All right. All right. So that is so that's the second big idea. Third big idea is now we're focused on how to stay consistent without posting every day. Right. So this one is an interesting one, because it's not the way that I'm reading it is not the way that you think. Right. So when it came to content, one of the hardest things I see is, and this happened for me when I was working full time and I was working in corporate America, and I was finding it difficult to post every day, and I'm like, man, like how can I be able to like still to get my message out there in a way that I can be in fact impactful to people, but I got a ton of things going on. I'm working a full time job. This was also around the time that my ex-wife was going through law school. So then I was working with her, helping her through law school. So then that was a lot. You know what I mean? Just and just still trying to build the business, and it's just interesting things that was happening. So because of that, I was I wasn't as consistent as I know I could have been. There was times, and I realized like, okay, I gotta have a strategy that's gonna help me be consistent. So I went around, I started getting coaches, and they started helping me out with what I needed to do. So here's what we're gonna do with that. So here's how you be consistent without posting every day. It's have a prep and posting schedule. Have a prep and posting schedule. A prep and posting schedule is technically you don't have to create new content to post every day. You want to be consistent with content every day, but you do not have to create new posts every day, because it's not the posting that takes a lot of time that stops people from being consistent online. It is the ability to stop what they're doing, think of ideas to create, shoot it, edit it, and post it. That's what the issue is. That's what people mean when they say I don't have time to do it. Is that I have to go through this whole process that might take me like an hour or two to come up with, and I just don't have the time to do it. And I know I need to do it, but I don't have the time to do it. So we have a prep and posting schedule that gives you the ability to batch your content. Batch your content is I choose a day and a time every week that I'm going to create all of this content. Literally, it might be an hour, it might be 90 minutes, 2 hours, but there's no reason why you couldn't choose this on a Saturday to do. Excuse me. There's no reason why you couldn't choose this on a Saturday to do, right? Whenever you have the time to do it. So, one, how do we do prep? So, we have a strategy that we call the Cornerstone Content Method. The Cornerstone Content Method. What I have our members do is they will have to say, okay, so your 12 steps already. We just talked about that, right? Your 12 steps to success. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Every day, I want you to pick a theme of a different topic that you're going to talk about that's related to overall what you're helping people with. So, for example, right, so I'm helping people build successful coaching businesses. So one of my things might be, okay, one, you got to know how to package what you do. You got to know how to package and pricing. So I'll pick a day where I'll pick a topic related to that. Then I have another day where you got to know how to do content. So then I have a content day, a content theme day. And it's not even something that you have to publicly mention, but you can though. And say, and you say, okay, Tuesday is going to be content day. Wednesday, people need to know how to do lead generation and attract people and things of that nature. I'll do that. And then have a day for sales. Then I have a day for testimonials and results. So for example, so then now I don't even have to think about what I'm going to post today. I just need to look at the day, see what day it is on the calendar and say, oh, today I'm teaching people about content. Boom, done. There's nothing else to discuss. This is the topic of the day. So now when you're doing your long form or your short form content, you already know what post you're going to do. This dramatically decreased the amount of time that it took me trying to ideate and figure out what type of content I'm going to post. So then now, boom, Cornerstone Content Method says you already have your themes that you've already prepped in advance, right? So, okay, boom. So I know that. Then I have go-to types of content to create. So what is go-to? Now this is where there's a whole bunch of different formats you could do. You got green screen, you could do walk and talk videos. You could do videos where like you do repurposing. Like if you train someone else, you could take clips of that and you could do that. You could get yourself talking on stages and then maybe you could talk, maybe you could clip that. For me, I like to, like I said, I like to do the green screen with something in the background. I kind of like to do that. You can do the pictures where you do a picture and then you do your description under it. You can do quotes. You see a lot of people in our industry, they do the quotes, so you can do that. I mean, there's so many different types of things. You can post interviews. You can post other people talking about your topic. I'm just giving you a menu. I'm giving you a buffet of different types of forms of content. There's no right or wrong. The only thing that I tell our clients is pay attention to where you see people are actually finding it interesting or entertaining. Because there's certain types of content, I could teach the same topic, and this is very important. The same topic, 2 different formats, and one will do way better in engagement or impact than the other. I could do the same 2 type of things. I could do one where I'm walking and talking. That might have a different impact than if somebody's interviewing me with questions on it. Or if I do a green screen with a visual on it. Right? It's a different, or if I'm sitting here with another coach and I'm training them on it. And, same topic, same concept, same content, different format, different results. You see what I'm saying? So you want to get creative with that. Get creative with it and try teaching what you know in different formats that feel comfortable to you and feel good to you. But then at the same time, it also helps you with the engagement and what the people like. So you want to do that. And then the posting schedule at that point is like, okay, I'm sitting down for an hour. I'm going to create 7 pieces of content. This is my go-to content. And then now at that point is just scheduling it. Most of the platforms now allow you to schedule it yourself. So you don't have to go get a third-party platform to do it. Facebook, at least Facebook, Instagram does it. I mean, pretty much almost all of them do it, where you can schedule the post. So, and if not, then if there is a platform that you're on that don't have it, then you could just use a third party tool. So, but you can do that. But definitely YouTube does it. Definitely Facebook. Definitely Instagram does it. TikTok, I'm not sure. LinkedIn, I believe. So in Twitter, I'm not sure. And there's a what's the other one? You can remind me. What's the other one? It's at the tip of my tongue right now. But yeah, so anyway, but regardless of the ones that's there, schedule it. So batch it, pick a day and time. Then you have your themes of what you're going to talk about each day. You've already pre-scheduled that. You have your go-to formats. Doesn't mean you can't do other formats, but like I know if I'm going to do a topic, I could just pick a topic and say, I want to do it like this today. Done. I just thought about that. That literally it took me 20 seconds to come up with the concept. Now all I need to do is go record it and shoot it, which if I'm doing 1 minute, that takes 1 minute. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing a green screen video, it'll take me 2 minutes to find 1 or 2 minutes to find the visual that I want. And then it takes me a minute to record it. So now I can get content out if I'm doing it in real time, but I can get the content out in 5 minutes. Or if I'm batching it, literally, it still only take me 5 minutes to create the video. So now I can create 7 to 10 videos in less than an hour. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you create this quickly. And this is how you're consistent, and then just schedule it. So now you're more consistent with your content. All right. So that is how you position yourself as the go-to expert. So you're teaching things that's different in the marketplace. You have frameworks that nobody else has that's unique to you, which is going to make people go to you. You're telling stories that nobody else can tell. You're bringing your personality into it because nobody could be better at you than you. So that's the unlock. People be asking me too, like, yo, how do I stand out? Yo, the more you can get comfortable being yourself on camera, the more people will go to you. And this has been a journey that has taken me years to do it. And I'm continuing to just let you guys know all different things about me, different sides, different, things I'm part of, different interests with me. Like I'm always, even myself, I'm doing. I think this is a constant journey over time to continue to be comfortable doing that, because the more you can do that, the more people say, I like you. I like the way you teach. I like what you're about. I like this. I like that. And this is why people will go to you versus to go into like a big Google, or going to an ET, or going to a Tony Robbins, or going to a Lisa Nichols, or or to a Les Brown. They'll go to you versus anybody else because they vibe and rock with you, because you're unique. You're bringing your personality to it. You're bringing a unique experience to it. And you never know why somebody will connect with you based on something you went through. Like, y'all went through something just like that maybe like a big guru have not went through, but they connect with you and they connect with your story, and they found that you've been able to make some progress in that area. Does it make sense? Like, are you getting this? Are you excited for this? Like this gives you a chance. We in a day and age right now, it's not just about the credentials and everything. Like, that'll help. You know what I mean? But that's not the big thing. So if you can continue to tell those stories about what you've done, how you've helped people, things that you've been like, that's what's going to make you stand out. Have your 12 steps to success, and make sure that you're prepping and you have a post schedule. All right. So hopefully I took a lot away from this. Go out and make sure that you're doing these things. If you really love this, if this is your first time, my name is Terrell Jones. Consider subscribing if you've seen this. Shout out to all my people in the coaching playbook, my familia. I hope y'all learning, y'all taking a lot away from this, and continue to be great. I want to hear you go out and start doing this and let me know the results that you're getting from what we're teaching. Slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.